Hello? What? What? He's spending $40,000 and he has to pay an after-tax money.
When you need some advice, never sacrifice, always get it right. Ask the Planman. Finance, insurance, and more.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ask the Planman. I'm your host, Bruce Weinstein, and I'm bringing you information, education, so that you can go out, find opportunities to improve upon your situation financially, insurance, anything in the financial world. We're here to help. I'm with my producer, Allie, today, and we're doing some shorts. We just did something the other day. We released about some new options in the healthcare arena that are available 365 days a year, not limited to open enrollment. And we wanted to carry that forward with some education on the differences and terminologies that are out there, Allie. There's a lot of pushback, if you will, on the use of HMOs. A lot of the health insurance out there, the lower priced plans are very HMO heavy. And that stands for health maintenance programs or managed care, if you will. So when somebody has an HMO, they're kind of in this arena. It's managed care. It's run through your primary care doctor, your PCP, primary care physician, and they kind of act as a gatekeeper. When you want to go see another type of doctor or need a procedure or an x-ray or something of that nature, you have to go through your primary care doctor. Might be an added expense. There's an additional copay. It's certainly more time. You have to go to visit that doctor and wait in the waiting room and get to be seen. And then they get to determine whether or not you need to go see that specialist. And if they feel they can treat it, or you really don't need it, or let's give it some time and see how the situation progresses, then you can't necessarily go to see that person. So everybody wants, prefers, has been exposed to the PPO side, preferred provider. And the preferred provider allows you to go right to the source. So here's an example. Many years ago, I'm playing basketball and I land funny on my foot, my ankle rolls, and ultimately I wind up tearing some ligaments in my ankle. Now, I play with a bunch of guys that are doctors, and my buddy Elliot, he's a podiatrist. So he's like, come on. We drove over to his office, and, my ankle's swollen. I can't walk on it. I'm nervous about driving, whatever. But we go right. He opens the door, x-rays, checks to make sure, and wraps it and ices it and does whatever. And I can obviously pay him for his services because I was in a PPO at the time. And he just put it through. Now, if I'm in an HMO, this is 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday, it's like, and so he's able to take me in. Whereas if I was in an HMO, either he's doing it for free, I'm going to cash pay him. It's not going to be something that we're going to put through the insurance because they would have wanted me to have gone to my primary care physician. Now, that's an injury and an accident, and maybe you can go to urgent care instead, but I'm right in the doctor's office. I don't need to go, to go through this whole, hoops and hollers for getting to see services. So the problem that we're facing in the health insurance arena is costs are getting incrementally higher. And you can say that in anything in the insurance space, auto, home. Look what happened in California. Look at the devastation that they had there with the wildfires. Lives have lost, billions and billions of dollars of homes. Wildfires are not covered anymore. You can't get insurance for fires in California because of what just happened, because they don't want to cover it. They can't protect. They can't put enough money aside. So all those people self-insured. And obviously, you're living in a $20 million house in Malibu. You're liquid. You're flush. You're not really worried about it. But, somebody who's a few miles away with their $500, $800 million home with the mortgage, they're going to have some problems. All right. So insurance costs, not to get off the pulpit here, for a sec. So in the health insurance space, people are trying to bring down costs. The insurance companies are trying to bring down costs. And in doing so, they're pushing more to the HMO model. Premiums are less compared to a PPO. Again, as an example, down here in Florida, I can price out an HMO on the marketplace and a client's balking and they don't want it and they want a PPO. And we don't have a lot of options in PPOs on the marketplace. They're very limited state by state. I couldn't even tell you what they are in every state, but I could just tell you for Florida, it's nearly 1 to 2, depending on the age. Obviously, I'm just blanketing the commentary here a little bit, but depends on their age, depends on all these criteria. But I can have you in an HMO, very affordable, couple dollars, if people based on their income, based on their subsidy. And then they go, well, it's $100, $200, whatever. And they go, but I really want a PPO. So Allie, it's $200, it's $100, it's free in an HMO. And I go to click on PPO and all of a sudden there's a 2 in front of the number. And that's not 200, it's 2,000. Like the premiums go bananas. And then it's like, is it really worth $1,000, $2,000 a month to avoid going through your PCP, going through your primary care doctor? And so you have to understand the dynamics here of where the system is pushing and leaning people in. If you're on the marketplace, you're on ACA, HMOs are going to be the predominance of what you're going to see and have access to that's going to remain affordable. Now, if you're not getting subsidies and you don't have pre-existing conditions, there are national plans. It's the episode we just did before this one, where you can get on a national PPO, much less expensive than a non-subsidized, marketplace plan. So depending on your age, depending on your income, depending on what state you live in and the costs, but we shared this in the other episode, so it's a little repetitive. I apologize, but we had a Florida couple. We're on a PPO on the marketplace, $2,700 a month, put them on the private PPO. So no setback in coverage. Don't have to sacrifice and go to an HMO. Premiums cut in half, $1,340 from $2,700. What 13 times 12 is how much? 14, 15, $16,000. We have somebody in New York. We did last month. Family of 4. I don't think they had a PPO in New York. I think it was an HMO. They were paying $3,700 a month. No subsidy, right? It's a doctor. Does well. Good for him. We were able to put him on this plan, nationwide PPO. I'm not mentioning names. I don't want to name carriers and companies here. But again, this is why you got to do your homework. Randy and I are connected. We've known each other for over 10 years. He saw my posts. He asked, can you do this for me in my state? Like, absolutely we can. Showed him it, went over it, answered their questions. Boom. Saved him $1,600 a month. Not a year, a month. 1,600 times 12, Allie. $19,200. What can you and Glenn do with $19,200 cash in your pocket? Can you make some damage? I mean, come on. That's a lot of money, folks. It's a lot of money. And it's not like he's getting free insurance. Like, he's still paying a couple of grand a month, but we saved him $19,000 of that. That's insane.
Yeah.
So
that's a reasonable card.
Yeah. I mean, he could buy cars for both his kids and still save money probably on a car payment. That's it. Just so, we're putting these videos out, letting people know and understand education side, differences of HMO, PPO. You got to get into deductibles. You got to understand your deductible. You got to understand your co-insurance. Most importantly, your max out of pocket. So again, this is educational stuff. We always want to make sure people understand. We went into a little bit about HSA, health spending accounts. Folks, you need to know these terminologies. When a client today, Allie, she's with us on the marketplace, and now her company's offering her benefits, and she sends over her coverage for us to look at. Okay, it's $1,000 deductible. like right off the bat, like you're not getting that on the marketplace unless you're in a very heavily subsidized plan, which means your income is pretty, on the lower end, right? So she makes good money. She's not. So I'm like, right off the bat, I'm like, how do you compete with that? Forget the price, just the fact that you have only $1,000 deductible. So what does that mean? It means once you meet the deductible, everything after that, the insurance company's participating in, which is the word coinsurance. So coinsurance is, now that I've met my deductible, how much of it is Allie paying? How much am I paying? How much is Allie, the insurance company, paying? And so if it's 60-40, most of us are used to 80-20 in the corporate world for group benefits. A lot of plans are 50-50 now. You're going to pay half until you hit what? Till you hit your max out of pocket. So your max out of pocket is your annual exposure. And once you hit your max out of pocket for the rest of that calendar year, you've done. But the max out of pocket on the marketplace these days is over $9,200. So if you're not in a subsidized plan, lower premiums, lower deductibles, lower max out of pocket, anybody who's not getting subsidy, you're facing a $9,200, $9,400 max out of pocket. You're probably going to have a $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 deductible, depending on what kind of plan you're taking. And you're paying out the nose. You're paying out the wazoo. And then, God forbid, if you wanted a PPO, you're going to pay even more. And certain states in the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, we're talking to clients all the time. And I've shared with you what some of these families are paying, $3,000, $4,000 a month. My buddy David and his wife, couple, late 50s, early 60s, his private, it's private, he's not on the marketplace. His health insurance from his company is $4,000 a month. I'm like, what? How much? And as a business owner in New York, you know what he told me? I didn't know this because we live in Florida now. I don't know New York. I never lived in New York. As a business owner in New York, they don't allow his health insurance premiums to be tax deductible. Hello? What? He's spending $40,000 and he has to pay an after-tax money. His company, it's his business, it's his company. They gross him up to get him the $40,000 to pay for the insurance. Hello, New York's like a 48% tax state. By the time you get done with FICA, state, city, federal, I don't know his tax bracket. I don't know how much he makes, but you got to be looking at least 40%. Every dollar he makes, he's going to pay 40% tax, and he's going to pay $40,000. What does that really cost him, Allie? 40,000 divided by 0.6. $66,000. David, are you listening to me? Move out of New York. He is. We're getting him out of there. But that's insane, and that's not fair. And what's the difference of that state versus another state where it is tax deductible, but yet they don't allow it in New York? Like, it's not. So anyway, so that's it for today, Allie. We're doing short hits. We're talking about the differences of HMOs, preparing people and understanding, giving them some options. If they want PPOs, there are some options out there. They're going to be a little bit more expensive if available on the marketplace. Clearly, you have to understand what you're getting into, understand the nuances, co-pays, co-insurance, max out of pocket, deductibles. All of these things come into play. You really got to understand the terminologies. Time and time again, we help people try and delve into it and assess it for them. We've got options that are on the private side, get you a PPO, get you national exposure, save you money. That's what we're here for, to help people understand, save them money. Allie, what do they need? They need advice. Always get it right. Come Ask the Planman. I'm your host, Bruce Weinstein. Until next time, please give me a call at 844-PLANMAN. We can help you in anything in the world of insurance, finance, and more. Glenn, cue the music. We'll see you next time.